Welcome back to another episode of Lost in the Farmer's Market Garden Shorts, where today we're going to be talking about this specimen in front of you. All of this purple loveliness, which is so darn purple that it would make Prince squeal. Its scientific name is Tradescantia pallida purpurea. Now, its common name is purple heart. That is what I've always known it as, but it has a couple other names, such as purple secretia and purple queen. Now, Secretia used to be one of its older names. It's actually in the family known as Camelinaceae, or the dayflower/spiderwort family, or, if you're kind of racist, you might call it the Wandering Jew family. One of the members of this family, which is also a spiderwort, is called Wandering Jew, and then there's also Moses in a boat, and it gets real biblical real fast, and I pass on these names because they're just kind of silly and tiny. But anyway, this plant here is a prime specimen here, doing really well. It came from a cutting that a member of Sustainable Neighbors was giving out. There's several cuttings that were propagated in water, but we'll get to that in a moment. Now, what does the scientific name mean? Well, pallida means pale, but you only really see it on this leaf here. Everywhere else is pretty purple. And Tradescantia comes from the name John Tradescant, who was an English nationalist and a traveler who lived between 1608 and 1602. He did not discover the plant. In fact, the first person to collect the plant and bring it to Europe and other parts of the New World was Edward Palmer. He first collected and potentially named the specimen near Ciudad Victoria, I cannot pronounce that, Tamaulipas. That's basically, I want to say that's somewhere near the Gulf of Mexico, because this plant is native to the Gulf Coast region of eastern Mexico. So it's native to the New World, native essentially to North America or thereabouts. It does real well up here. But it is considered an invasive in Cuba and Puerto Rico and certain other parts of South America and Central America. Go figure. Now, it is hardy in USDA zones 7 through 10. It prefers a soil pH of 6 to 8. Its exposure can be full sun, which some say is for the best color, and indeed this specimen, let's zoom in a little bit for y'all out there watching. Oh yeah. Definitely Prince of Food. Yeah, it's so purple, I'm pretty sure he's squealing in his tomb. Anyway, it seems to do better in partial. It can tolerate crappy soil real well. It does its best, as you can see, when it's taken care of, regularly watered. It's drought tolerant normally, and it gets the best color. And look at those flowers. Let's zoom in on those too. Yeah, right here. Well, I mean, maybe I've reached the limits of my camera, and there's another one over there. And actually, let's pick up the camera and get in close on this, shall we? Because you cannot appreciate it until you see the cheery lilac flowers. There we go. And of course, we're overcast today, so the color's not as good as it could be, but right there. And there. It's a traditional spiderwort flower. All of them have this flower. Now, biologically, what's interesting about the spiderworts is that they do not offer nectar to pollinators, just pollen. Kind of stingy, but they produce a lot of flowers. In fact, if you looked at the test garden right now, you'd see its cousin, Widow's Tears, which is a pretty dark name when you think about it, but Widow's Tears, and they're blooming all over the place. They are the primary blue flower at this time of the year in this climate, 8B. But anyway, again, it does better in partial. It does better with care. You can neglect it, but you probably shouldn't. It's one of those deals. Its maximum height is 12 inches, which, when we zoom out, now that we're nice and close, yeah, you can see that, right? 12 inches, and its spread is 12 to 18 inches height, and its spread is clearly, if you add this all up, that's probably 18 inches of mayhem. Now, it will branch freely. Like, this is new growth, and this right here, this pale leaf in here, is some of the original cutting growth. So it'll spread, it'll multiply, it'll creep. You can cut about 4 to 8 inch long cuttings off, and if you put them in water, they will root in about 2 months. Probably faster during the growing period, but during the winter months, it takes about 2 months. And you'll lose a few, but you'll get enough to start an entire new critical mass. Now, in our climate, this plant is not invasive. Not at all invasive, and it's very easy to grow. It's not picky, again, on soil, and it does like fertilizer, as I've evidenced by this plant. It grows most in the hotter months, and as far as I know, it doesn't really have any pests if it's healthy. I mean, it might get scale, it might get aphids, it might get mealybugs. Might. It is not a good plant for a house plant. Even though you could, the problem is, it is toxic to people and pets. Flat out. So, if you have a pet that likes to chew on things, keep this plant the hell away from it. Just saying. Unless, of course, you didn't like that pet. And what you can't see off camera is, what's jiggling the camera is, Caliente the farm cat is over here demanding attention. Our feline overlords are just in action again. She wants to be a video star. But anyway, that's all I have for you. Let's scroll back so you can see there's the trouble causer. There she is. Yep. She's trying to get back. No, I'm ready for my close-up. Anyway, so that's all I have for you in this somewhat off-script episode. We'll have more for you, more content. If you like this, hit subscribe, hit the like button. If you have any questions or comments, please ask them. As always, folks, keep them growing and stay tuned for the next episode. Thank you for watching.